Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at this optic right here from CVLIFE. This is another cheap China optic. It's about $130 on Amazon, and it is an RMR footprint optic. So we're going to see, is this anything to write home about? Is it a great option for a great price? Or is it just another cheap China optic? So first off, full disclosure, where did I get this optic? Did I go and buy a $130 cheap China optic? No, I did not. CVLIFE reached out to me on Instagram. They said, hey, would you like to review our optic? I said, sure, and they sent me one. No money was exchanged hands. I didn't send them any money. They didn't send me any money. And I'm definitely not going to have my opinion and my integrity swayed by being sent a $130 optic made in China. So first, what comes in the box? Well, of course, you get the optic itself, but you also get a bunch of other accessories and cool stuff in there as well. You get all the tools and screws that you need to mount this optic, a tool to adjust the zero of the optic, a cleaning cloth, and a little bit of an instruction manual to help you start getting set up. Now, once again, it is an RMR footprint, so that means it's basically going to mount on any pistol out there. Almost every pistol out there that has a modular optic system has an RMR option, and a lot of pistols that are pre-cut for the RMR. So if you need a optic, this will definitely fit almost every pistol out there. Now, when it comes to the quality of the dot, when it comes to how does this dot look when you're shooting it, it actually looks fine. It is not the crispest, roundest dot out there. There's a little bit of some blurriness and haziness to the dot. The glass quality could be better. It definitely has a blue hue. However, for a $130 optic, it still performs like you need it to. There is none of that dashing or dotting when you're moving your optics. So when you're transitioning between target to target, your dot stays consistent. It doesn't look like a cheap laser pointer like some other optics out there do, even from more expensive brands. You also have a nice feature set when it comes to the optic itself. First off, it is a top-loading battery, meaning I don't have to take the optic off to change my battery, meaning I don't have to re-zero my pistol every time I have to change the battery. You also have some nice controls. On this side of the pistol here, you've got a up and down. Now, it is weird that the up is closer to the shooter and the down is further away. On every other optic I've seen, it's normally the other way around. Not a huge problem, very tactile, clicky buttons, but it is something just to notate. If you're used to other optics, you might end up going up when you mean to go down and vice versa. So a decent feature set and a decent quality emitter is definitely good on an optic, but the more important thing to take a look at is durability, reliability. How well does this hold up under recoil? How well does it hold up to any sort of impacts or drops or something like that? And that's exactly what I'm going to be testing. Now, first off, of course, zeroing the pistol. There's no way to determine whether or not it'll hold zero if we do not first ensure we have a proper zero. So once the pistol was zeroed, started shooting with it, getting a feel for it, doing my regular practice, and doing my review and evaluation of the PDP. And then I started doing some one-handed manipulations. Now, this served two purposes. One, I was testing the PDP optic system, but also testing the durability of the optic. Now, one-handed manipulations, as you can see, is when I'm pushing the face of the optic up against a fixed object in an effort to rack the slide and get, a bad round out, or simply re-rack the pistol or something if I'm in some situation where my non-dominant hand is unavailable and I have to rack off the body of the pistol. And the optic body obviously makes a very easy and very accessible way to rack the slide. So did all those one-hand manipulations, did not have any issues, no real serious damage to the optic, just some scuffs and scrapes, and it continued to maintain its zero. Now, of course, another way that you can test durability, and a lot of people do, are drop tests. So I did exactly that. I did 2 drop tests with the pistol from shoulder height onto some very firm dirt. I didn't have any concrete to drop it on, but it was like dirt with rocks and stuff, kind of like a gravelly dirt. So a decent amount of impact to the optic body. Now, I do suspect that these ridges here along the top of the optic body are for durability, as they can kind of prevent those drops going directly on the housing and kind of deflect or maybe absorb some of that impact. I'm not an engineer, so that's just me guessing. Both those drop tests did not cause any significant issues. Like I said, more bumps and scrapes and scuffs on the optic, but nothing that damaged the glass or caused it to lose zero. So it held up just fine. Now, the other reason the optic may have held up is because this optic was sent to me. I didn't purchase this optic was sent to me by CVLIFE. So keep this in mind, that they very well could have cherry-picked the optic I was sent, or they sent me an optic that anyone else would get if they bought this from their store. So just keep that in mind, that yes, this is a sample size of 1, and it held up very well, but that could be because they sent it to me. I'm not implying any malicious intent or any sort of deceit with CVLIFE. I just always like to give that disclaimer, because if I have a good experience with a product, it's entirely possible that's because that company selected me to get that product that had that better quality control or better overall quality. Now, at the end of the day, would I recommend this optic? Would I even buy this optic? Would I buy this optic? Absolutely not. There's literally no world in which I would have even known that this optic existed if they didn't reach out to me online. And if they'd reached out to me and asked if I wanted to buy one of their optics, my answer would have been no. Obviously, I'll take a free product for review because it gives me a new experience of a new product and a way to make content for you guys. But I'm not looking to get $100 China optics. I've been sent them before, I take a look at them, and then I don't really do anything with them again, especially if I end up replacing them with something else. They just go in a drawer and they're really not used. This probably will get the same treatment. It'll probably just stay on this PDP, and whenever the PDP is used, the optic gets used. But it's simply there because I don't use the PDP for anything serious. This is just a gun that I have. It's not a training gun, really. It's not a defensive gun, so I don't really care about the durability of the optic, even though this optic did prove, at least in my testing, to be durable. Now, what is this optic good for then? Should you even consider this optic? Well, I think it's good for a couple different people. One, it's good for the person who wants to build a training gun. So let's say for work or for concealed carry or whatever, you carry the Walther PDP and you're buying another one just for the purpose of training. This is just a training gun. You're not going to be taking it to carry. You're not going to be taking it to work. You might shoot a competition with it, but that's about as serious of a use as you'll give it. Then this optic's perfectly fine. It's perfectly serviceable for that use. It's just training at the end of the day, and if it breaks, if it gets damaged, if it fails, that's fine because it's not your life on the line, it's just your range day. So it might ruin your range day, you might have to go home and change the optic or switch to your iron sights or something, but it's not the end of the world if this optic dies when you're using it in one of those less serious situations. Now, another good use for this optic is going to be people who want to get an idea of pistol optics without spending $300+. Because this is so cheap and affordable, someone who maybe is very hesitant about using pistol optics might be able to buy this, put it on a pistol they don't use for serious use, and dip their toe in the water in the pistol optic world. I wouldn't recommend this long term, right? Get a feel for it. You're like, oh, I really like pistol optics. I want to put pistol optics on all my guns. Don't buy another one of these, go buy something better. But if you're looking at this saying, hey, I don't know about those pistol optics, I don't know about those newfangled inventions, do I really want to go buy one? Well, you can go buy this one, which is only $100, and then you can get an idea of whether you like pistol optics or not. Now, spoiler, you're going to like pistol optics. If you know how to shoot, pistol optics are going to make it a lot better for you to shoot, a lot easier and a lot faster and more efficient, but that's a whole other video. However, that is a good use if you want to just dip your toe in the water of the pistol optic world. Alright guys, so that was my take, opinion, and experiences on the CVLIFE optic. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like down below. If you disliked the video, I really didn't say anything crazy in this video. I didn't trash talk any companies. But if you disliked the video, there's a dislike button for a reason. Otherwise, guys, head in the comments. What are your experiences with these cheap Chinese optics? Like I said, I have taken a look at them before, and they normally hold up, but they're nothing impressive. Is there some cheap Chinese brand that you've seen or you've tried? And I don't mean that disparagingly, but it is a cheap China optic. That's what it is. Is there a brand that you've tried or seen where you're like, oh, this is actually pretty good for the money, or this is actually something innovative that you should check out? Go leave that in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, I'm working on new content, so subscribe and stay tuned.